Friends, welcome to this video web series. The basic objective is to create general awareness about an important topic such as cattle preservation. This issue has been a very sensitive issue and has been implemented throughout the country since last more than 70 years now. So now this is the time for the public as well as for the farmers to know as to what has been the outcome of implementation of the Act. In this particular episode, I am going to talk about Karnataka. Now the reason being, Karnataka has recently issued an ordinance wherein the old Cattle Prevention of Slaughter and Preservation Act has been repealed and a new ordinance has been passed. There are only some basic differences between the two, although the politicians are trying to misguide the public, saying that this particular act has been passed to protect the cows, as if the cows were not earlier protected, which is not true. Since 1964, that is the parent act of the state, cows have been protected, so cow could not be slaughtered as per section 4, and the only animal that was permitted to slaughter was those bullocks which were more than 12 years of age, and they were uneconomical and they were not useful to the farmers, so only they were permitted. And now with this particular ordinance, that has changed. That means total prohibition of all classes of cow, including bullocks, have been invoked now. The only animal that can be used for meat purpose are buffaloes, which are again more than 12 years of age and of course fit for slaughter, but uneconomical for the farmers, for work and for productivity, etc. Now in new ordinance, what has been introduced is the changes in the penalty, and number 2, there have also been provisions inserted for transportation. Section 5 of the new ordinance now states that the cattle within the state cannot be transported for purpose of slaughter. Now this is going to be very difficult, because even farmers will face lots of difficulties, because now the police or the competent authority would be able to stop any vehicle which is carrying cattle, saying that this is being transported for purpose of slaughter. So how are you going to decide that a particular cattle is being taken for other than slaughter purpose or for slaughter purpose? So this is going to be very difficult. And number 2, another draconian section has been introduced, that is section 6, which says that if cattle is to be transported out of the state, in that case permission is to be taken. Now this is something very surprising, that on one side you are talking about national market, you are talking about free movement of agricultural products and agricultural produce, and here you are talking of restriction, that you want permission to be granted for every cattle and every cow which is to be transported from say Karnataka to any other state. That is going to be very difficult for the farmers. And the other provisions that have been introduced is strict punishment, and the punishment now has been enhanced to 7 years. One more thing which I would like to point out here is there is also one section 7. Now the section 7 says that no person shall sell, purchase any cattle for purpose of slaughter. It also says that even if the seller has a reason to believe that the cattle would go for slaughter purpose. So this is going to be again very difficult, because suppose there is a farmer who has got a bullock which is very old, for 13 years, 14 years old, it is having problem with its legs, it cannot do any draft purpose duty. You have got another cow which is not yielding anything, all 4 teats are gone. So who is going to take? So here the competent authority would say that there is, the farmer had every reason to believe that this particular animal, if it is being purchased by someone, is going to go for slaughter. So, the farmer would be hauled up. So, all these provisions which have been made in the ordinance appears to be causing harassment to the farmers, especially because if they are not able to sell, they are not able to dispose of such even male cattle, they would have to rear them, and rearing them is going to be very costly for them. So, these are the difficulties which the farmers will be facing.
The problem is, whenever the politicians talk, they would never take support of any data. What I have been doing since last 2 years is studying this implementation of this particular Cow Protection Act in different states, and I have collected a lot of data under RTI and also analyzed the data from livestock census. You all must be aware that Government of India is one of those very few countries which conduct livestock census every 5 years or 7 years. Usually it has to be every 5 years, but sometimes it has happened in 6 years, sometimes even 7 years. So I have collected the official livestock data from 1997 to 2019. That was the last livestock census data. And then I have tried to analyze to find out whether the basic objectives for which these acts were implemented have been achieved, because it's more than 50 years for Karnataka. If we take 1964 and today 2020, substantial improvement in cattle growth and all other parameters should have been made. If the state was really interested in implementing this act, and they were really serious that rural economy should progress, and the cows are required, bullocks are required, bulls are required. So they should have made substantial improvement up till now. And then I also tried to collect information from the state government by writing them RTI, that it has been now 50 years. Now, any act, if you are implementing since 50 years, at some point of time you should evaluate whether those are effective or not. So I asked them whether you have any time conducted an impact analysis. Now you are amending it several times, so at the time of every amendment also, because amendment you are doing because you want that there should be refinement in the act, and if there are any loopholes, that is being eliminated. And for that you should first understand what has happened up till now. So I asked them under RTI, and the reply came, no, we have never conducted any impact analysis, we have never conducted any study. I asked them whether have you conducted any census analysis in depth to understand what farmers want, because this is a beautiful data which will tell you what farmers want, whether really farmers are complying with the provisions of the act. Because what you are saying is that all these animals are economical. If these are economical, wouldn't farmers know that these are economical, and they would not sell, and they would be keeping and rearing these animals. So all related information try to collect from them, but they don't have any. And then as a result, what I did, I prepared a complete report for Karnataka, and I sent this report to the Director of Animal Husbandry with my covering letter that I have taken 2 years of analysis of livestock census data. And at that point of time, it was coming in the newspaper and the TV that Government of Karnataka was thinking of amending the act in line, to make it more effective, in line with the Gujarat, UP, MP, all these act. And I had done analysis of all these states. I also sent them a comparative data of even other states, saying them, okay, you have a look at this data, and then you can do amendment based on the most effective state which has achieved this objective. No reply, even no acknowledgement of even the report which I have sent. When expectation is, if some professional is doing such kind of analytical study, at least there should be courtesy of acknowledging, replying that we have received your report and we are looking into it. Anyway, as I apprehended, this bill was brought, and my submission to them was, when you are having a committee, call me before the committee so that I can submit whatever analysis I have done, because all these things we are doing in the interest of the farmers, and the government also says that what they are doing is in the interest of farmers, in the interest of general public. So what I have also done is fact to be presented, so that they take appropriate decision. If they are really interested, then they can take appropriate decision based on what are the problems which have been identified. Now coming back to the analysis of Karnataka, that I'll present, that will tell you that this act in last 50 years has been total failure in Karnataka. I mean, nothing has been achieved.
The cattle growth pattern in Karnataka, I'm showing you on the screen, in a tabular form, and as I've said, this data has been analyzed from 1997 and census to 2019 census. You can see in 1997 in Karnataka there were around 108 lakhs cattle population total. Now, if the law was effective, if it was effectively implemented, and if it was really accepted by the farmer and implemented at the door of the farmer, the cattle population should have increased. Now, you can see that in 2019, instead of growth, the cattle population has decreased to 84 lakhs. How is that possible? The objective was to preserve cattle, and now you have got an act, which says that instead of increase in cattle population, the cattle population has decreased. So this clearly says that the act has been totally ineffective and a failure. Look at the data which I am showing even for sex, that is male as well as female. Now, in case of male, you can see even in 1997, the number of males compared to females were very low, and there has been consistent decline in male population from 1997 to 2019. Now, understand that in Karnataka, only those male bullocks which were more than 12 years of age and were uneconomical for the farmer were the one which were permitted to be slaughtered. So those are going to be very minuscule because bulk of the population is going to be up to 12 years of age, and here you can see the male population has decreased. Now, even in female population, you can see something very interesting. Now, the interesting thing here is Karnataka farmers have decided to hold the number of cows population constant. So you can see from 1997 to 2019, the cow population has fluctuated between 60 to 65 lakhs, and this is not something which is very surprising. Even if you look at the data globally, I have analyzed data of another 20 countries which are from different regions, like very dairy developed countries and medium developed countries, as well as those countries where dairy development has not taken place. So in all those countries, the interesting thing which I find is that the population, the cattle population, the cow population is more or less constant, varies between +5 to -5 every year, or even during several decades. So same thing is happening in Karnataka. Now, if you have got an act right from 1964 which was protecting cows, how come your cow population has remained constant? This is possible only when farmers were disposing of their cows, because all those cows which they thought were in excess and uneconomical for them were being disposed of. And you can see even the male to female ratio, which was quite high in 1997, has now come down to around 28 to 100 now. And based on that, if I calculate the missing cattle population, because if you consider that only more than 12 years of age of male bullocks would have gone out of the population for purpose of slaughter, then rest of the male cattle should have been there in the population. And you can see the missing male population, which I have calculated adjusting the mortality rate as well as other rates, comes out to around 47 lakhs in 2019, and in 1997 it was only 15 lakhs. So the trend shows that the farmers' culling behavior is irrespective of the provisions of the act. I mean, they are very intelligent, they are very smart, they take very smart decisions, and what they have shown from the census data is that they are culling animals as per the economic compulsion, and those economic compulsions are very similar to what global farmers are facing, and their culling behavior is very similar to the global farmers. But now what will happen with this act? The things are going to change. If the government is really very sincere and very honest and very vigorous in implementing this act, then all these animals cannot be disposed of. So, understanding is that if it cannot be disposed of, then the farmers will have to maintain them, and if farmers will have to maintain them, it is going to be uneconomical, and they are going to face lots of problems. This is how the farmers have not accepted the act, and now the government of Karnataka, instead of studying what is the behavior of the farmers, what exactly farmers want from the census data, they have not considered all these and come out with the ordinance, which is going to be highly problematic for the farmers as well as for others. So with this, friends, I take your leave for this episode. In next episode, I will be again describing in detail the data analysis which I have done for Karnataka state, and will try to show you that the culling of the animal is not at the later stage, but the culling is taking place right from age 1. And remember, at age 1, whether it is male or whether it is female, both are protected by law. So that will clearly show that the farmers have not accepted this particular act. So with this, I take your leave. Please do see my next episode. Thank you very much.